Hi guys, it's John here at Trident Human Optimization, and we're going to kick off this video series looking at the plyometric rules you need to follow to get the most out of your plyometric training. Okay guys, so the first rule we're going to focus on here is quality. And this is one thing I always see that suffers when people try and implement plyometrics is they do too much. So it's quality over quantity. If you want to get just beasted and tired, go to your local exercise class. Get the most from your plyometrics on the road or on the bike, then we need to really focus on quality and maximum intent on each movement, okay? So less is more. Rule number 2 is progression and earn the right to progress. I see a lot on social media of people doing more advanced plyometric drills, dropping off boxes and jumping over higher hurdles when they don't have the base capacity to do that and absorb that landing and have that quick contact. So the big thing we want is to start off simple and earn our right to progress. So starting off with simple drills like skipping and hopping, up into something a little bit more demanding like a box jump or dropping off a box and sticking the landing before we get into big demanding things like our drop jumps and continuous broad jumps. Rule number 3. Okay guys, what we want to focus on here is 2-foot landing before we ever go down to a single leg. If you can't absorb force off of 2 legs, you've got no business going down to 1. Likewise, we want to make sure you can do a single all-out effort before you start incorporating multiple efforts or repeated jumps one after another, okay? So earn that right once again to progress up through. Okay guys, rule number 4. Now, what we want to focus on here is slow movement. Now, with plyometrics, this sounds counterintuitive because we want quick ground contact as fast as we possibly can. Now, if we want to get to that point, we have to earn the right to get to that point. So our slower contact time, so more than 0.2 milliseconds we want, okay? So things like our hops and our skips that are in our entry level, so stuff is going to have a longer ground contact time before we get to that shorter ground contact time of less than 0.2. Now, this is the key focus because once again, we want you to be able to set up that positioning and that potentiation factor before we even get into the more advanced drills. Rule number 5, plyometrics, they're advanced exercises, especially the further on end with the more advanced drills. So we need a good solid base of strength in order to get to that point, okay? You're gonna have multiple times body weight going through your limbs on drop landing or over a high hurdle. So you need to be strong enough to absorb that force. General recommendations from the NSCA and American College of Sports Medicine is around about 1.5 to 2 times body weight in the back squat, okay? Like I say, these are arbitrary numbers, but you're not going to need that big strength base for your lower level stuff like hops and skips. But as we get more advanced, then we need to have that big strong strength reserve as well to be able to absorb that landing forces. Okay guys, and finally, rule number 6 is ground contacts. So this is like how much volume of contacts you have within a total session. Now this depends on very much on where you are in the scale of things. Are you a beginner, are you more of an intermediate individual training, or are you more advanced? And once again, this comes down to your drills as well. So for a beginner, we're going to be looking anywhere for 80 to 100 contacts, ground contacts per session. For someone who's more in the intermediate section, we'll be looking anywhere between 100 to 150. And for your advanced guys, that's going to probably jump up to between 150 and 200 contacts per session, okay? Now, things to consider as well is we get more advanced within the drills. That needs to come down because there's more demand on the body. So I would say for the more advanced sort of stuff, your beginners, you're probably going to be looking around about 40 contacts per session for a more advanced drill. For an intermediate, more about 60, and then probably about 80 at most for an advanced individual doing advanced drills, okay? So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. Please pass the video on to anyone you think this will be beneficial to. And stay tuned to the other videos following in the series, guys, okay? We'll see you next week.